Good evening, guys, and thank you so much for coming to the April 22nd business meeting. If we can all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, we are joined by 5 of our trustees, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, Mr. Robert Haas, our interim assistant superintendent for finance and operations, Mr. Luis Frontero, our district legal counsel, Mr. Edward McCarthy, our district clerk, Ms. Suzanne Benetti, and our student rep, Haley Hendershot. As always, there are 2 opportunities for the community to participate before the Board of Ed meeting. The first is just before the board takes up its agenda, and the second follows disposition of all agenda items. As always, if you'd like to speak, we ask that you come to the podium. You must be a person who lives in Bayport Blue Point or voted in by a majority vote of the district. And we ask that you keep those comments to about 3 minutes. As always, you can see in the back, this is live streamed and posted on Board Docs. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at BBP School District. Just one quick update. We do have a Board of Ed meeting on May 6th at 7 o'clock. We're going to actually move that up to 6 or 6:15. We'll let you guys know in the near future to accommodate the Meet the Candidates night, and you'll see that tonight in the presentation. We do have an election this year for 1 seat. So we'll get into that when Dr. Harney does his presentation. And we also have Mr. Devine here tonight presenting for the BAC. So after Dr. Harney does his report and Mrs. Hendershot, we'll get into our 8th budget presentation and Mr. Devine and his recommendations from the Budget Advisory Committee. But at this time, we'll open it up to the community for any new or old business. If you could just state your name.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brianne Maxim. I see some neighbors and some former teachers. Brianne McLaughlin, if you remember. So I'm an alumni, and I'm also a community member now, as well as an educator in the Connecticut School District. So I'm here to comment on the class enrollment sizes for the elementary school at the lower elementary levels, particularly in my daughter's in 3rd grade. So what I want to bring up is I do not envy your job. I do not envy all of the things you have to handle, the budgets, everything. I'm not an expert on any of that. The only thing I am an expert on is being in the classroom. And I'm a foreign language teacher, so I'm very familiar with language acquisition as well. My enrollment on a yearly basis is pretty much no less than 120. Typically, I have 125, and I teach both 7th and 8th grade foreign language. The class sizes are large, and the progression of what education has looked like from the beginning of my career to now, we really are dealing with chemically in their brains a different human being than when we started. It's a huge array of how we got here with cell phones and parent involvement and societal norms, but I have firsthand day-to-day knowledge on the difference in the class sizes and the aftermath 5 to 10 years later of these young students who are not having, who have already, I want to say, won the lottery right now of the small class sizes. This is not an issue of having to hire more people. This is already in place. And I'll give you a real-time example of today's lesson. I gave an assignment last night I have 1 class who has an enrollment of 14. The rest of my classes are 24 plus, so a difference of approximately 10 to 12 students in a class. The 2nd period class, which is my small enrollment, the assignment I gave last night was to write a small excerpt, a small paragraph on an event in their community, and then invite me in the foreign language to attend this community event. In the 42 minutes that I was allotted for those students, I was able to, because of the small class size, collect the books, pile them up, let them do some really engaged partner work, give personalized corrections, enhancements, and adjustments to their work immediately in real time and hand it back to them. their overall success versus 2 periods later in my 4th period class where I have 26 enrolled students. There is no possible way in those 42 minutes that I can actually collect that work, give that same individualized feedback to those students in real time. Those kids, instead, to the best of my ability, I'm a very engaged and passionate teacher, get a class-sized lesson. And this kid's not paying attention. This kid's tapping their desk just because of human nature. The more students, the more distraction, the more small fires you have to put out minute to minute to minute. And these are middle school kids. The reading acquisition and literacy opportunity in children is so fast, right? K to 3 is where that is. The general structure and gap that I'm seeing later, right? I see the older kids. So the gap that I'm witnessing in basic sentence structure, the way they categorize information, verb knowledge, it's just, there's a gap there that has gradually grown in the wrong direction in the last 15 years, let's say. The kids are not right now in better shape than they were when I started my career. And people will argue, well, there's been large class sizes forever, but it's not going well. We need to reset what the norm looks like. And we already have that at Academy Street. I don't want to see that taken away because the money later that's going to be spent on reading intervention programs, IEP meetings, class coverages for the teachers attending those IEP meetings probably will eventually outweigh if just the investment in those kids early on was put there, like put in the right spot at the right time. You kind of only have one chance to make them love reading and make them good at reading. After that, it is a long battle. And I'm in foreign language, but those reading literacy skills and acquisition of language goes to math with decoding, science, DBQs and social studies, really every single subject. You're going to need those basic skills. It needs to be done and prioritized K through 3. The way you're going to do that, the way you're going to be able to get the teacher to be able to do that is with appropriate and small class sizes. We have more numbers of individualized education plans, not less. It's astounding every year how many more there are. It's overwhelming for us as teachers. We're only one person in the room, and we really want to do what we can for the kids, but not if you're putting 10 additional kids in there. Just the engagement, the accountability that you're going to be able to give to them is not going to be there. And I really feel that they deserve that. They've already won that lottery of being able to have that small class size. Why do we want to take it away? It's such a gift to them. It's not just about fiscal numbers and finances. It's about investing in truly the next 5 years of their educational journey. So that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. So I'll give you a little bit as we go into the thought process. One is we look at this every single year when we're taking a look at class sizes. And you are correct. Probably pre-COVID, class sizes were 24, 25, 26, whatever, even common within this district. And then once COVID came, obviously we went to reduce the classes so that we could get all the students in the schools. And the majority of the schools have always continued to do that. When we're looking at each individual class, we take, it's not really just about one thing. We look at the entire picture of everything related to the students. And really, as we've come out of COVID, is to continue to have classes of 14, that is tough to do. There is no doubt about it in terms of that. And there's even kind of discussions of trying to expose the students to more students as well. But when you're looking at this your grade you're specifically talking to is 43 students currently right now. So you would be talking about 2 classes of 21, one of 21 and one of 22, which if you're asking, I do believe that is a very appropriate and reasonable class range for an intermediate class. You have the primary, which is your K2, and then you have your intermediate, which is 3-5. And it's something that we've talked along with Mr. Haas, Ms. Beard, and we've continually talked about it. It's not taken lightly by any means. We're always taking a look at this. And over the last couple of years, We've continued to do that as we looked at classes. And in a matter of fact, most recently, probably since 2022, 23, there have been about 6 grade levels that we've taken a look at. This would be the 6th, actually, where as the students move into the upper grades a little bit, and I mean the intermediate, where we've started to kind of reduce some of that. And the idea is where we can offer then other services in other areas as well. That's what we've kind of looked at as we've done this. So as we're looking at this piece is we're looking at the grade level. And one of the things we've always said, and this came up, we did it so far probably 2 times where we just did it recently in Sylvan. One was last year and one was 2 years ago as well. Again, where the grade levels were about 22, 23. And we've been continually able to move and progress the students. If there have been concerns about progress or anything along the students, I have no problem with the principal or somebody coming forward and then us obviously taking a look at it. And obviously at this time is where we are looking at that. If the numbers change or something happens, we will continue to monitor it throughout the summer and year, which we always do. And if it has to be at some point where I went to the board and said, okay, listen, we need to make a change here, or we need to make an addition here of some sort, we would take a look at that as we go forward, which is things that we have done in the past. But where we currently are right now is as each year we've started to take a look at the different classes. And this is the difficult part about going across, and I've said this before, and I have no problem saying this, as 3 buildings, and you're trying to make sure that where you're trying to keep things somewhat similar in the 3 buildings and things that you're offering, or trying to balance class size, and that becomes the difficult piece. If they were all together, that would be easy. We'd have 6 classes of 20 students, and that would be basically it. But that is not the case. So each year we kind of take a look at it. But a class size of 21 and a class size of 22 where it currently sits, I do believe is very reasonable. It is still on the smaller side in comparison, not necessarily to some of the others that you're talking about. I understand that. But it is something that we will continue to monitor as we're going forward. So that's where that recommendation came. But it is not taken lightly. I think people know that here is we continuously looking to see what we're doing best for our students in terms of what we're offering. So that is a constant conversation, and it will be a constant conversation as we move forward in this process.
Any other committee members? Yep.
Sorry, mine's written. I can't be as good with the off the top of my head. My name is Kristen Perry. I am a community member, and I have 2 kids at Academy Street, one in kindergarten and one in second. I really want to speak, it's on the same subject, but I want you to understand from a parent perspective of children who are struggling already in the 2nd grade. I have a 2nd grader who struggles tremendously with reading and writing, and he receives additional help 5 days a week. He goes in early every single day. And I am most worried how this big jump or this jump in class size will affect him and a number of his peers who I know also receive additional support. The transition from 3rd grade up to 3rd grade is a very big one, as they're no longer learning just how to read. It's now reading to learn. I still, as much as you say that 3rd through 5th is intermediate, I really think that 3rd kind of falls into that lower kindergarten through 3rd. Teachers need to be able to support their lower readers on their skill level, which will be more difficult and less likely to happen in a larger class size. The whole class instruction done in a smaller class size will decrease the need for students to be pulled out for support. I'm worried that my son will have to be pulled out for additional services if he isn't given that personalized attention when he is in the classroom. They are in some of their most critical learning years, and our grade has gotten used to that small class size and that attention that they've been given. Smaller class sizes, they build stronger peer and teacher relationships. In a time when we are so focused on mental health, we need our students to feel the sense of community and not just being a number when they're in the classroom. And if we eliminate a class now, does that mean that we have to continue to eliminate those classes as they move to fourth and then to fifth? Which, when you're departmentalizing in the fifth grade with only 2 classes, that's not really going to help them with that transition going into middle school. So I just wanted to give you that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Not hearing any? Pass it over to Dr. Harney for his superintendent report.
Thank you very much. I'll just do a couple of things, and I'll leave most of the updates to Ms. Hendershot. So just a reminder that on Thursday night, we're doing a STEM night that Mr. Haas is organizing, so that is coming along with our principals, so that is for Thursday. Also, just a reminder to our senior citizens, we have the senior citizen dinner that is happening on May 8th. And just a reminder, since we had no snow days this year, we will have off on May 23rd and 27th, which we will send out a notice about that. And I'll talk about this a little bit more when I just give a quick budget update later on. You're probably aware of this if you've been following the paper at all. There has been the governor has not come out with her budget as of yet. As we know, that is an April 1st deadline. So really what you're going to see here tonight, there really is not much changing because we're still waiting on that. And that means even for some of the other things that they were going to put within the budget, hence this conversation around cell phones, we're still waiting on all of that information. So more to come on that as we're going forward. Hopefully we will receive what the state budget is going to be soon, but we cannot wait past tonight because we have to adopt a budget tonight. So that's kind of a little disappointing. With that said, I will turn it over to Ms. Hendershot.
Thank you. To begin, we hope everyone had a wonderful and restful spring break. At Sylvan, our 5th graders are looking forward to the career fair this Friday. Students will dive into the world of future careers through a comprehensive research and presentation project. Students completed the ONET Interest Profiler to discover careers aligned with their interests. After selecting and submitting their top 3 career choices, students were each assigned a unique profession to explore in depth. Students then conducted research and created informative brochures and posters. Later this week, 3rd and 4th graders will visit the Sylvan Career Fair, where they will have an opportunity to learn from and chat with the 5th graders about future careers. This inspiring experience encourages students to explore their interests, develop research and presentational skills, and connect with their peers in meaningful ways. Additionally, we are looking forward to welcoming families of incoming kindergarten students to our parent and guardian orientation on May 1st at 10 a.m. It is exciting to begin building connections with our newest Sylvan families, and we look forward to partnering with you on your child's educational journey. At Academy, students have been enjoying morning clubs set up by the PTA. They've been attending yoga and chess and have been having a great experience. This Wednesday, please join us at our Poetry Cafe at 6:30 p.m. It is a wonderful student and family event where our students shine as they recite original as well as published poems. On May 2nd, we welcome all families of incoming kindergartners to visit Academy to meet the teachers, support staff, and hear all about what to expect as their kindergartners start their journey in elementary school at Academy. Finally, the Academy Spring Concert is next Thursday, May 1st at 7 p.m. at the high school. BPE is also looking forward to their spring concert on Wednesday, April 30th at 7 p.m., especially their cadet band and orchestra groups who are performing for the first time. BPE is looking forward to welcoming their incoming kindergarten families as well at the orientation on Tuesday, May 6th at 10 a.m. As we wrap up April at the middle school, our science research students are excited to read their newly published children's book, Garvin and Deco Learn to Dive, to 2nd grade classes at Sylvan. In addition, we're looking forward to our movie and activity night this Friday, April 25th. Typically, our activity nights are open to our 7th and 8th grade students, but Student Council has extended the invitation to include our 6th graders for this activity night as well, and we're excited to allow our younger students to both participate in a talent show and cheer on their peers. Finally, at the high school, following a restful spring break, students and staff have returned energized for a season full of learning, opportunity, and community engagement. Looking ahead, we have a PTA-connected Build Up and Belong event on May 6th aimed at fostering healthy tech habits among families. Our students are also giving back to the community through the Interact Club's ongoing Souls for Souls shoe drive, running through May 2nd. College and career readiness remains a focus with the WSCA College Fair taking place on April 28th and summer exploration opportunities like the Toro University program. Thank you for your continued support as we work together to finish the year strong.
As always, thank you so much, Mr. Hendershot. At this time, we'll turn it over to Mr. Devine to give his recommendations from all the work that BAC has been doing over the last couple of months. We do have a few BAC members in attendance, so thank you so much for coming.
Suzanne, you can get this out to, there's 12 there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronnie Devine. I had the pleasure of serving as the chairman of the 25-26 Bayport Blue Point School District Budget Advisory Committee. I have a short presentation to make. The committee has met from October or so through this month, and I will give it now. But I'd like to say to Ms. Hendershot, I don't know you personally, but that was a wonderful little presentation you made. Good enunciation, and you're very talented. I hope you have a good career in college and everything else, because our district was very fortunate. A product of our district is wonderful to see. So good luck to you in your future endeavors. As we move forward tonight on April 22nd, 2025, I'd just like to say that the Budget Advisory Committee was created by the Bayport Blue Point Board of Education well over 2 decades ago. The committee's primary responsibility is to meet and make recommendations to the Board of Education regarding the annual proposed school district budget. The BAC is grateful for the opportunity to participate in this year's budget process. Our committee is comprised of community-minded members from various backgrounds with both public and private sector experience. We thank Eileen Gina, Chief Office Assistant, for her communication skills in advising the BAC of our scheduled meetings. She's done all the emails, because when I do the emails, it doesn't go out right, so she took it over about 5 years ago, and she does a great job with that, so we'd like to thank her for that. Proposed 25-26. The BAC is very much aware of the constraints of the Board of Education has while managing the fiscal resources and educational needs of our children. During the past months, Dr. Harney and Mr. Fronterio attended our numerous BAC meetings and provided our committee with an easier to understand accounting and budgetary analysis. Extensive and detailed materials have been made available to each BAC member. The goal of both the administration and the committee is the total shared transparency of the fiscal and monetary concerns of our district. We are very fortunate to have a great and well-recognized school district. However, dramatic decisions are going to be required as we proceed forward with hypothetical redistricting and or other measures, while recognizing attrition may not be sufficient to address staff allocation. For this current year, however, it is the consensus of the BAC to support this year's proposed budget, with the increase with the allowable tax levy cap of approximately 3.45% for the 25-26 fiscal year. The BAC has been advised that the projected homestead tax rate increase would range toward the upper level of 3%, approaching 4%, which the consensus of the committee would find acceptable in this ensuing year. Once again, our BAC this year was a talented and passionate collection of dedicated residents that enjoyed the opportunity to serve. It is comprised of community members with diverse opinions that have led to careful and considerate process. It has been a privilege to serve with them. Our BAC would like to thank Mr. Louis Fronterio as he concludes his tenure with our school district. During his time with us, he has streamlined the annual budgetary process and provided our committee and community with clear and concise presentations regarding our financial status. Thank you again, Louis. We'd like to thank you very much. We're very fortunate to have you with us in our school district. So we wish you well in your future endeavors as you move forward in your life and everything else. So, yeah, let's give. We would like to thank our school district for the opportunity to serve the residents of the Bayport Blue Point community. And this is presented by myself as chairperson, Michael Capozzi, Jack McQuaid, Matt Hyland, Dennis McCarthy, Michelle Kessler, Jack Sauter, Patrick Rue. Patrick is here with us tonight. Patrick has been with us for many years on our board. Jen Sue McCormick and John R. Walsh. Let me just mention that over the last 2 years, we had 3 to 4 new members join our committee, which is wonderful. We invite any of our community to sign up. We do take a little time, but it's not that much time. We meet, usually once a month with presentations and that. And it's a very worthwhile experience because it allows our residents the ability to see how the budget, and Lou does, Mr. Fronterio, I should say, does an excellent job presenting it, but he demonstrates to us or presents to us the components of how he gets to where he is, which you see when he does that. So anybody starting in this, when the invitation goes out, please join us on a committee. It's a wonderful experience. And this way you learn how school district budgets work. You don't have to be an accountant. We're all lay people doing this over our careers, and we'd love to have anybody join us. So we find it very interesting. So thank you. Thank you to the board. President Miller, thank you, and Vice President Johnson, thank you very much, and Dr. Harney and everybody else, thank you.
Mr. Vaughn, I just want to say thank you so much, and appreciate Mr. Rubin and all the committee members. Any questions from trustees about the report? Mr. Vaughn, I just have one quick question about, you talked about dramatic decisions going forward. Can you talk about some of the background the committee was talking about when they said dramatic decisions going forward?
Well, dramatic decisions in the realm that school taxes, unfortunately, in almost every school district are very high. At some point, they will be confiscatory in years to come. I've been not in the school district profession, but in the government profession of assessing and taxation for over 45 years, so I see it as it's coming. It's not an easy place to be. Our district, as you both all know, work very hard within our constraints to present a budget and spending that is well represented and everything else. However, we don't have a lot of industry, so unfortunately, the road ahead is not going to be probably lower taxes, but probably just trying to do as much as we can with what we have. So I'm sure future boards will have to make tough decisions. I don't know what they are at this point, but they will come at some day, and I think we have to work together as a team and as a community to try to make everything work as we go forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. Devine. Ms. Pignataro?
Oh,
Going to keep you for one more minute, Mr.
sure,
Devine.
of course.
Just wanted to thank you so much, first of all, for you and everyone on the committee who volunteers their time. We talk a lot as a board about community engagement and how important that is, so we thank you for echoing that,
Well, thank you.
for giving your time to the process, and thank the BAC for their support of the budget process. My only question would be, in future years, especially if the BAC does happen to have specific questions or recommendations, do you think that it would be possible for us to hear from the BAC a little bit earlier in the process, as tonight we're adopting a budget, and it's wonderful that we happen to agree tonight?
Well, tonight is a year where this year I think was sort of a year where there's not a lot of new initiatives. There's not a lot of places to go where financially where you have to make a decision tonight and everything else. Mr. Frontario has presented everything in a concise and professional and accurate manner over the last 6 months. So this year, I agree with you in principle, but this year I think we were all kind of leaning that all the ships, like they said in Godfather 3, all ships must go in one direction, and that from the movie, the Godfather scene. But this year, I think, is a caustic, in my opinion, and just my opinion alone, is it really a cost to continue budget where we have to go forward with, with the least amount of expenses we can, but spending as we have to do, and presenting, as Dr. Harney's role presented to us, the services that have not gone down. In fact, they're enhanced, and we keep getting better, which is what we want as a community and as parents and residents of our Bayport Blue Point community. So, yes, I agree. We can do that maybe next year, but again, we're also at the mercy of, like Dr. Harney said, the state. We don't have state aid. There's a lot of missing ingredients, so we're making assumptions and we're making thoughts and processes based on what we have as of tonight. So, but yes, I think it's something, maybe we could do something together, maybe in December of this coming, of the next cycle, where there's more time or something like that. I know there's a very fine professional succeeding Mr. Fontario. So by that time, we'll all be sort of maybe settled in with each other, and we can work forward and try to make it a goal. So, thank you.
As always, thank you so much, Mr. Devine,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Rubin,
President Bill.
and the rest of the committee. Appreciate you putting your time into this. At this time, we'll turn it over to Dr. Harney and Mr. Frontario for our last budget presentation before we adopt tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miller. I think tonight's presentation will be rather quick, only because there really, as Mr. Devine just alluded to and I had alluded to earlier on, there really is nothing new tonight. in terms of information that we had gathered. So I'll just kind of walk you through this rather quickly, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. Again, thank you again, Mr. Devine, for the BAC, and Mr. Roop, thank you very much for all your efforts. We appreciate it. So where we are tonight is, you've seen this, it's really to adopt the budget. So you'll see within the regular agenda part, the Board of Ed tonight will do a roll call to accept what the final numbers are for the budget, which actually Mr. Devine had alluded to a little bit earlier. So that really is the purpose for tonight. These are the part of the strategic plan. Again, the beginning of this is part that we use in every one of our presentations, and this is where we are right now. It's really the budget adoption by the Board of Ed tonight. So it's really the last night that we are presenting an anticipated budget, where now it will become the actual budget. And then, as it looks like we are going to try to keep May 6th, it just means that we're going to be changing the time. And what will happen that night is probably a few minutes before the regular meeting, Mr. Frontario will do the budget hearing, which we are required to do by law. So we'll do that. Really, as you're looking at the budget, this is just the things that we've talked about that are within the budget. It's continuing to fund our staff, all programs, all services, and new items. Any of the reductions that we have made in terms of materials is not impacting our students. And then on the revenue side, we was hoping that one is going to the allowable tax levy limit is the 3.45. We were hoping to have something here for line number 2. And if you're thinking about it, on an $80-something million budget, correct, we've basically received a $208,000 increase. We don't know if that is going to change for the better or worse yet. Again, without having the governor's budget, it makes it a little bit difficult. I don't anticipate it going down, but really, as I said, that is less than 2% for our district for this current year. And then obviously we're continuing to try to increase miscellaneous revenues, our appropriated fund balance as we're looking at that. But we are trying not to also dip into our fund balance, where the past 3 years, that is something we have done, and we have talked about that, where probably over the last 3 years, and hopefully that is not going to occur again this year as we're projecting forward, but where we've had to dip into our reserves about $1.5 million over the 3 years. So that becomes something that we're hoping that we're able to change. These are just items that you'll find within the budget going forward that you've seen this slide as well. Just things that we're talking about in terms of doing next year. A lot of it is in the buildings and grounds area, a lot of security area, and we had talked about this, and it was asked of us to add some things in relation to security. And we have talked about it time to do another enrollment study, because probably the last one we did was right around 2019 or 20. And those studies are usually good for about 4 or 5 years. So that is something we want to continue to do. So that's what you'll see there. And then these are slides that Mr. Frontera has really shown for a number of meetings now. This one is the actual budget. The 3.8, if you remember, we've kind of settled on where we started at the budget to budget increase as a 4.72. We've been able to get that down to a 3.8 through various reductions. And again, that is more in terms of things more than anything. So that's what that is. And then on the opposite side is the revenue part of the budget, where you can see, again, state aid hasn't changed. We've dipped into the appropriated fund balance a little bit. And again, going out at the tax levy of the allowable amount of 3.45, which means basically we need a simple majority. So it's 50% plus 1 in order to pass this budget. Okay? The other things you're going to see on this, and we've talked about it, you're going to see the establishment of a capital reserve. And I think the most important thing is the idea of this is to help us go into the future where maybe we won't need to do as much bond work. The idea is it's really a twofold process. One, you have to establish a capital reserve. So that's what we're looking to do on this. So people understand this, and this will be one of the things that we do when we do our number of our presentations. It has absolutely no impact on the tax levy, and it has no bearing at all as well in the budget to budget increase. It's really just saying we would like to establish this reserve, and if we're able to, and we have surplus at the end of a year or fund balance, then we're able to start putting money into it. And basically it says we can do $2 million for the first year. As I said, the last 3 years we've been dipping in, so that would have not have occurred in the last 3 years, obviously, and up to $10 million over 10 years. The other important piece to remember of this is if at some point we want to have access to that money to make a building improvement, we would again have to put that out to the public to vote on. So there's really two votes. One now to establish it, no impact on anything that we're really talking about in the budget. And then the second one is if we were ever to use it down the line, that we'd have to have another budget vote to do that as well. Okay? And then really, this is what's left. So May 6th, looks like we will still be a go that day. We'll send out information about the change in time. During that, you'll have the budget hearing from Mr. Frontario, where he will have to talk at that time, and this is again by law, you talk about the contingent budget. If the budget was not successful through the first vote, and if the board decided to have a second vote, that would be something we'd have to have conversations about. Obviously, also there'll be the ballot on there, and then the proposition. One is the one I just talked about in terms of the capital reserve, and then also this year we have 3 terms have come to an end, so we have 3 seats on the Board of Ed open this year, and all petitions were due as of yesterday. So what you'll see on the vote, so as the third piece to this is the election. Ms. Connie's seat and Mr. Johnson's seat was up at the end of this year. Both of them will be running opposed for next year and for the next 3-year term. And then, wait, what did I say? Unopposed. I said posed. Sorry about that. All right, unopposed. Sorry. And then the third seat, Mr. Krug, has decided not to come back, so we'd like to thank him, and we'll do that again in another meeting, but thank him for all of his service and everything he has done. So on that night, so that one you'll see 3 people that are running for that seat, a Mr. Adam Schneider, a Mr. Robert McLaughlin, and a Mr. Jack Sauter, who will be running that night, on May 20th when the budget vote happens. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll go out and we'll start to do some of our community presentations as well to kind of get more of the information out about the budget. But that really is the budget, as I said. So really, it's not exciting, nothing really new. Maybe for May 6th, we'll have some update on the governor's budget, but again, that really doesn't impact anything then because the budget is set as of tonight, and we have to do that by law. So I'll take any questions you may have. And again, I'd like to thank Mr. Frontario. I just said I would do this part tonight. Meanwhile, he's done really the majority of the work just because to kind of keep us moving along here tonight. So again, thank you, Mr. Frontario.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harney. Any questions from trustees? Like Dr. Harney said, thank you so much, Mr. Frontario. Thank you, Dr. Harney and your team. Open it up to any community members for any questions. Not hearing any. Thank you so much, Dr. Harney. We appreciate it. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda? Not hearing any. Can I have a motion to approve items G through J? Ms. Connie, second by Mrs. Pignataro. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. At this time, we'll move to the regular agenda. Just know this is a roll call vote. So when I call your name, if you can just give a yes or no. Can I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 school district budget, starting with Mr. Krug? Mr. Johnson? Ms. Pignataro? Ms. Connie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Moving on to the next item, can I have a motion to gratefully accept the donation from several families of benches for the Academy School with approximately cost $900 from an anonymous donor? Ms. Connie, second by Ms. Pignataro. As always, thank you so much for the donations. I know it's anonymous, but we truly do appreciate it. And I'm sure the Academy students are going to really appreciate it. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Can I have a motion to accept the results of the 2025-2026 library budget vote and trustee election? Ms. Connie, second. Ms. Pignataro, second by Ms. Pignataro. So we are lucky to have our library president here. So Mr. Devine, congratulations, 195 votes. And the budget did pass 210 to 37. So thank you guys so much for supporting the library. And our last regular agenda item, can I have a motion to review the second reading and adopt policies 4200, curriculum management, 4325, academic intervention services, and 8113, extreme heat conditions and days. Mr. Johnson, second by Ms. Conley. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Open up to the community members for any comments or questions. Not hearing any trustee new business. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Krug, second by Ms. Pingataro, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Truly appreciate it. We'll see you on May 6th.